I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Osprey Transporter Wheeled Carry-On 38, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. This is a piece of soft-sided luggage, so this obviously is not like a hard like plastic shell or something like that. This is made with a couple of different fabrics here. We have they're all PFC-free, DWR, and Blue Sign approved, but the shell here is a 450D recycled polyester that's TPU coated. Then there's also accents that are 600D recycled polyester that are TPU coated, and the bottom is a 420D recycled nylon. So got a couple different options here. In general, it feels really sturdy and durable. You can see that all of like the stitching here is still in really good shape. It feels like it's really well made, and you can really start to overstuff this thing. Where that comes into a problem is that it just starts to look a little bit lumpy and weird. So you can see like this front compartment's just a little bit odd. I got some comments about it that like people were like, oh, are you working for, you look like you're working for like a government agency or something like that. Like it just kind of has this very like sleek look to it that's just a little intense. It says transporter down here on the bottom, so you can remember what line you have, and then the little Osprey logo on the top. But overall, I don't think it like looks bad or anything like that. Pretty simple too. We have some nice zipper pulls. They're super ergonomic here, lockable zippers, everything like that. We also have this little bottom handle here that doubles as like a little kickstand for the bag. So we have handles across the bag as well. We have one on the top, and then we have not one on that side, it's on this side here, and then we have one at the bottom, so you can really quickly easily move it in and out of like cars or overhead bins. That came in handy. I took this on a road trip. Took this on two road trips actually, and it came in handy for taking it out of the car, because this also has only 2 wheels. So these ones here are 90 millimeters. There's only 2, but they're really big and chunky, and they actually move a lot smoother than I thought they were going to. I was able to also, I like just tested it to see what it'd be like if I just dragged it up a flight of stairs and down a flight of stairs, and they held up really well. You can see like it's kind of got a little bit of marking on the sides here, but overall still really in good shape, just kind of in a general sense. This is also their like high road chassis, so this is going to like lift. It's not going to catch on like a rougher terrain if you're like going over big rocks or something like that. So this is definitely something where if you do like a more like rugged travel, if you're going over like larger rocks or cobblestone streets or something like this, this is gonna handle that really well. So we also have the carry handle here. By that is a luggage ID window. It's super open, so I didn't find myself really wanting to use this. I feel like whatever I put in here could slip out pretty easily, but it is there if you wanna use it. And then the size of this thing, it fits on most, if not all, major US airlines as a carry-on. And then there are like the international ones is where it gets a little bit sticky, but that's to be expected. A lot of US airlines are a little bit bigger. So in terms of the handle here, this is a 6061 aluminum alloy tubing and collapsible trolley handle. So basically what this means is that it's like a aluminum telescoping handle, which is something we see on a lot of luggage, but it does have a nice like ergonomic shape here. The button's really easy to use. It's a little hard to like get in and out, I would say. There are 2 stopping points, which I'll show you kind of what that looks like when I stand up over there. But I did notice like the bottom of this, I'll bring it up closer to the camera. You can see it's kind of like, it has some like ridges on it. And when I really packed this thing out, it got pretty heavy. And I noticed that that got uncomfortable to hold. It started like digging into my hands and my fingers. So I would say in terms of, like it's not uncomfortable, but I wouldn't want to drag it for longer. I mean, I was walking from like a parking structure to a hotel, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm tired of this. So if you were going like long distances, I would say it might not be as comfortable. So this is how it looks when it's just right next to me. In terms of rolling, it's super easy. It just goes back and forth nice and smooth. And then with the actual telescoping handle here, we have that top point. Then we have this lower point, which if you're a little bit shorter than me, I'm 5'6". If you're like a little bit shorter, that might be comfortable. But for me, it felt more like this was really the only option. Granted, you know, I'm dragging it at all times behind me on 2 wheels versus like if this were a four-wheeled rolling luggage and now we're keeping it next to me, this might be a little bit too tall. So I think in terms of length, it's not that much of a big deal. So you could put it there, put it down there, or just kind of slide it right down in. Another thing that I liked about this is with this carry handle and the way that this like curved chassis is, I was able to like fit through doorways. So in, you know, like if you have a piece of luggage next to you, you kind of have to carry it out next to you because of it's completely straight on the back. With this, it did just fit kind of right next to my body, which I thought was nice, although I did sometimes hit the wheels with my legs, so that wasn't as great. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. But for now, we're going to look at what the inside of this bag looks like. So starting with a couple of front compartments here, we're going to look at this top one first. You can see that it covers most of like the width of the bag here, and it opens nice and easy. I can't remember, are these YKK zippers? Yeah, they are YKK zippers. So in here you can see that it looks kind of shallow, but this pocket is actually super roomy. So here's where I put, like, I have a 3D model of a phone in there, but mine fit perfectly fine. So put like my wallet, chapstick, and AirPods. So this was anything that I wanted quick access to. But you can see, I'm gonna actually invert this. You can see how big that pocket is. It really goes like to the, pretty much goes to the back here actually. But I did notice, you know, if this, you only have as much room as your inside of the bag is packed out, because as you start to load gear in here, it sort of pushes up against this fabric and it becomes, instead of like hanging down, it starts hanging back that way. And so it can get a little bit tight in here over time, but the material is nice and soft. I like that. It fit, like, I don't feel like my phone's in danger or anything like that. I put like sunglasses in here too. This kind of just became a good dump pocket, which I actually thought was very, very handy because of this front pocket here. It's a little bit harder to organize, even though there's organization in there. So with this front compartment, dual zipper, so you can open it from either side. And we have a couple of different storage options here. So first, obviously you can see the laptop. So this fits up to a 16-inch laptop, and it has a little buckle to keep it from slipping and sliding around. You can see that as big as that laptop is, it really like is the max that it can fit. So I have a 13-inch, mine slid in here nice and easy, but with the 16 you might have to wiggle it around a little bit, but this buckle does a really good job at holding it in place, so that's good. This is also padded, and the laptop sleeve ends down here, but because this doesn't actually touch the ground, it's like, it doesn't really need a false bottom because this whole pocket by nature is kind of a false bottom. So with this here, felt like my tech was safe, and then you can't really see it very well, which I think was mainly my issue, because mostly when I was, I guess like when I was using this pocket, it was more so that it was upright like next to me, you know, whether it was like sitting next to you at the airport or something like that. But getting into this pocket and loading it out while the bag was still lying down was a little hard, because you can see it's angled. So I'm actually gonna pull it closer so you can see a little bit better. It angles down, so you can see that that little thing of eye drops was in a pocket, and now it's slipping out. So we do have a couple of different like organizational options here. Like we have a little, there we go. We have a little pocket with elastic here, and that's pretty big. It goes down to like there. It's like, I don't know, 5 inches or so. And so this is where I would put things like this, like AirPods or something, but because I have this top pocket, I never really found myself using these tiny little pockets here. We also have 2 pen slots over on this side, so you can always use that if you need it. And then there's a zippered pocket here, which is a good spot to put like the tech if you don't want to carry a tech case. If you put your laptop in here, you can put like your laptop charger in there as well. And then there's also a spot for, it's a key clip for your keys. So that's a really good spot. I do like when pieces of luggage like this have a spot for your keys or something like that, because when you're traveling, for the most part, you don't need your keys from home. And in this case, it's a really short key leash. It just keeps them tucked out of the way. You don't have to think about them until you're done and you're back home and you need to get back access into your house or your apartment or whatever. So in here, there's a little bit of extra space if you wanted to put additional items or something, but I felt like the inside the main compartment was pretty roomy, so let's take a look at that. All right, now into the main compartment. So overall, this bag is a 38-liter capacity total, and it's 6.148 pounds, which is about a pound lighter than other wheeled luggage of a similar size. So there's like a couple of hard-sided options that are like about a pound heavier, even though those are still on like the lighter side. And then there's another version that's like a soft side. The Cotopaxi Alpa 38-liter roller bag is about the same. It's like less than a pound heavier. So this one is pretty light in the scheme of things. So if you just open this up, it is like a clamshell opening. So you'd open it like you do a backpack. And you have 2 organization kind of pockets on either side. So I guess 4, depends on how much you want to count. But on this side here, we'll start with this because it's the smaller size side. There are two individual little pockets on the lid here. I use this for, like I put a hat and a belt and a couple like other accessory related things in this pocket, and then in the top pocket I put like undergarments. So that was really good for like small items that I wanted to keep segmented a little bit further away from all my other gear. And then in this pocket, I went to an event where I needed 2 different pairs of shoes, one of which was very chunky. So I actually put a men's size 12 boot in here, hiking boot, so you can get an idea of like what size shoe fits in here. But I put my shoes in here because they were just a little dirty, and even though I had them in like a bag or shoe pouch, I just kind of wanted them separated. So these fit really nicely in here. I liked having the option to put shoes in there. And then I filled up the space with like any additional, like I had, this is, you know, a toiletry bag, but I had like additional little organization cubes and pouches and stuff that I put in there because I had the extra space. So, you know, obviously whatever you pack in this side is going to cut a little bit into this space, and then you need to make sure that it can pack over onto this side. So what I ended up doing was just making sure that all of my bulky items aligned, so that when I actually went to go close the suitcase, I could close the suitcase. On this side here, this is like a classic kind of zippered opening. I just used this as my packing cube, but for the most part, you could use cubes in here. I did do that as well on a different trip, so I kind of saw both ways. We do have compression straps here that work really well to like hold your gear down. I just put a bunch of pants in here so you can kind of see what that looks like, but I was able to fit 2 pairs of women's pants, a pair of pajamas, which was like sweatpants, and then I was able to fit 5 different shirts. So between all of that, I mean, I would say that's at least 3 to 5 days worth of clothing. And I did have a big toiletry bag like this, which took up a lot of space, but this was something that we were trying out. So I wouldn't necessarily even carry something this large on a normal basis. And so you still have all that extra room, which with a size 12 shoe, you could put your shoe here if you wanted to do that, and then save this other side for whatever other gear or pouches. So kind of up to you, however you want to keep everything organized, but I felt like it was really roomy in here. I didn't feel like I was fighting for space. Here you can see this is where that top pocket comes in. So like I said, the more you put gear in here, the more it's just gonna kind of tuck away that way. But if you don't have as much stuff in here, it will just sort of dangle down. So kind of up to you. How you want to organize and what works best for you, but I found it to be really roomy in here, really convenient. I didn't love that it got like a little bit of a lumpy look once you got everything in here, but that's kind of like a personal preference, I guess you could say. And then the other thing that they mentioned is that it fits like luggage. You can fit like basically any size luggage tracker in here, but there's not a dedicated pocket for it, at least not that I could find. So if you have found one, definitely let us know in the comments. But in this case, I think you could just stick the luggage tracker honestly in like one of these zippered pockets, or even one in the front, and you're probably all set to go. But in general, I think this suitcase did a very good job at holding a good amount of gear, and if you're going to be going on more rugged adventures, the wheel system can definitely handle it. So there you have it, the Osprey Transporter Wheeled Carry-On 38. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.